Hi Capricorn, happy birthday and welcome to your January 2020 Astrology 33 reading. Thank you to those of you who've liked, viewed, shared, subscribed, and donated to the channel. I appreciate all of that. And regarding personal readings, for those of you who watch this right when I post it, I actually won't be offering personal readings at that time. But when we officially actually do roll into January, I should have personal readings open again by then. So just wanted to let you guys know that. As far as what we have in front of us, a Celtic cross spread as always. Some extra cards came up there. We have a couple of oracle cards to look at after we get through the main spread, and then also a Mudra card. So quite a bit going on. Let's get started with the main situation. We have the Ace of Swords. So this represents you either becoming aware of a truth or I should say, being ready to communicate whatever that truth is. So that could be what's at play. You know, you might come into some information that previously you didn't have. Maybe it was something that, might have been racking your brain for a while, and maybe now it comes to you. Could be around even, I am recording this in mid-December, so you might even get this energy around the time of the new moon in your sign. So that could be what's at play there, which will be a day or so after Christmas, I believe. So maybe that's what's at play here. You come to some realization about something. And like I said, so it could be a matter of either that, coming into that information, and possibly deciding if you want to communicate regarding what you do find out. That's what I see happening there. In the challenger obstacle position, we have the Emperor, and we have the Queen of Swords. So this is actually the major arcana card for Aries, and this is the court card for Libra. So interesting there, because we are in eclipse season now, and we're going to have that, like I said, new moon eclipse in your sign, and then we'll have a full moon eclipse in your opposite sign in around the middle of January. So those are two of the cardinal signs, and then we have the other two cardinal signs playing out here. But, they're not directly involved in the eclipses. So interesting to see these two cards come up as your challenger obstacle. But, it could even be as simple as maybe because you're having to put so much energy into yourself and into maybe your personal relationships, maybe your home life and your career life might be thrown out of balance because of that. That's possibly what's at play here. For some of you on a more mundane level, this could even represent, sometimes with the Emperor, I see this as an energy of a boss, and usually they could come across as quite controlling if that's the case. So that could be the challenger obstacle there, right? Because the Libra energy we see here, your house of career and social status is actually ruled by Libra. So that could be what's at play here. Maybe you want to communicate to your boss regarding some new ideas. Maybe you want to ask them about, a pay increase, for example, or promotion. And maybe it's a challenger obstacle because you feel like, they're so set in their ways that they wouldn't look at it from your perspective, and you wouldn't, it'd be a challenge for you to have some fair treatment, right? That could be what's at play there. And for some of you, since this is, Aries could represent the first house and then Libra representing the seventh, for some of you, maybe there are some relationship struggles that you're currently going through. In the foundation position, we have the Death card, Six of Wands reversed, and Four of Wands reversed. So this is a major arcana card of Scorpio. This represents Leo energy here, and this represents Aries energy. So for some of you, this could even be around some kind of inheritance, or maybe even some kind of a bonus that you were supposed to receive, and maybe you find out that you're actually not going to be getting that. So this could even represent legal action being taken by some of you. If there is some kind of money you were owed and you're finding out that it's not going to be coming your way, that could be what's going on there. For others of you, this can represent that you're actually, either have or will this month actually leave a relationship behind. Maybe because you felt like you couldn't get any more forward traction with it. Maybe you felt that you had gotten as far as you can go, so you decide to just leave it behind. try to see if anything else comes to mind with these energies, but yeah, I think that may be it. Alright, past energy, we have the Eight of Cups. So this could all be related to what we see here, which is to say that maybe you decided to walk away from something. You found that it wasn't as fulfilling as you were hoping, perhaps, and decided to walk away in that regard. And since this represents Pisces energy, this could just say that, you know, you might have had a conversation with the person about this and wanting to move on, but that's what I'm seeing here. So it's interesting to see that, because for some of you, maybe even there's been a change of perspective. You know, maybe you did walk away from something in the past, and now if that Ace of Swords, you know, maybe it brought you to a new realization around the situation. So, for example, maybe some of you did walk away from something, and maybe you're finding now that you might want to come back to it. That could be what's at play there. And maybe that would be why that's in a foundation position. It could just be saying that, you know, you had walked away from something, possibly during the time of Scorpio. And that would make sense too, as far as there was retrograde energy going on during that time. And maybe this is saying now, you know, in order for you to get back into that situation, you know, it might be very difficult with that Six of Wands in reverse. So that could be what's at play there. Present energy, we have the Four of Swords. So once again, this is Libra energy. So I really do feel that, yes, for some of you this can be romantic relationships, but for a lot of you, I'm really feeling this is more of a career thing. And again, I think maybe there was some kind of unfair treatment in the workplace that you were dealing with, and maybe because of that, you decided to walk away. And now in the present, you're just actually recovering from that, you know? Because the Four of Swords energy is about healing. So, and given that it's your 10th house, you know, it could just be saying that this could be the in-between time too. You know, you left one job and now you're waiting to start a new one, right? Or maybe even you're not searching for one just yet. You decide, all right, you know what, let me just take a little time to myself and then reboot, basically. So that could be what's at play there. In the near future position, we have the Seven of Swords and the Three of Swords. So two of the tougher sword energies to get. This is actually a card that represents Aquarius energy, and this is yet again more Libra energy. So there's a lot of Libra energy going on here. And what this could even be pointing to with all the Libra energy, it could even just be pointing to the scales being balanced in some way. So for example, if you were being mistreated in the past, right, this could all be coming to light now with these eclipse energies that we have going on, in order to get this situation rectified. I do have to also at least put it out there and say that for some of you, you know, if you've been mistreating people, this could all be coming back around now too. But given the overall look of the spread, I feel like for the majority of you, it's not that you were doing anything wrong. So there's that. But given that this is Aquarius energy, there could be some deception that you were experiencing around money. And it could have definitely been in the workplace, because again, we see the Libra energy here. So to me, this represents that disappointment around something going on in your workplace, and it would be some kind of deception. So as a generic example, right, let's just say I always look at this Seven of Swords energy in the context of finances as a situation, just a generic example again, where maybe you asked them for a pay raise, right? Because I think I'd already mentioned that possibility before. So maybe that was what happened, right? And they said to you, oh, well, we only really have this much money to spare, right? So they tried to make it seem like, oh, well, we'd love to give you more, but this is all we have. Meanwhile, they could have offered a lot more than that, right? So we see they're just telling you, oh, yeah, this is all we have, when in reality, they're actually pocketing more, right? So, and maybe that comes to light with these eclipses, and then that's where the disappointment comes into play for you, you know, because you feel like, all right, well, now all trust is out the window in this situation, right? And given that Libra, you know, again, your career and social status house is ruled by Libra, and that's part of what makes you guys hard workers, you know, because you do have that expectation that, all right, well, whatever work I put out there, you know, I'm going to be compensated for that, right? So It just kind of, so in that regard, it's like your energy takes care of itself. You're like, all right, well, I know that every, bit of work I put in, I'm going to see the rewards for that. So when you find out that that's not the case, obviously that could be a huge disappointment. All right, and the position of your energy toward the situation, we have the 10 of Wands and the 10 of Pentacles. So pretty good to see these two cards pop up, especially in this order. This could just be saying that, this is you really digging in and working hard to achieve your financial goals, right? That's one generic way of putting it. But given what we are seeing here and what I was already talking about regarding your career, this could even be more representative of you guys deciding. And maybe this, as far as timeline goes, maybe this happened during the last 10 days of Sagittarius season. But maybe this is saying that this is you actually deciding to take your experience, right? That's how I'm seeing the wands in this context. Like maybe even 10 years, for example. Maybe you've been at this job for 10 years. And maybe this is you just taking that experience and saying, you know what, I would be treated better elsewhere, and actually having that confirmed by, by putting, let's just say that you put your resume out there, right? Okay, well, this is the experience I have, you let them know what you're capable of, and then you end up getting a job offer that was better than where you currently were. That's pretty common to happen around eclipse season anyway. And then add to that the fact that you do have Jupiter coming into your sign. Well, it's officially in your sign now, but the fact that it newly came into your sign is what I mean. Could also add to that too, which is to say, all right, well, maybe in some ways, if you've been getting done wrong in that regard, having Jupiter come along could actually help bring a little luck your way to get out of those types of situations. In the environment position, we have the 8 of Wands. So to me, well, this is another Sagittarius energy for one. But beyond that, I can say that what this might be pointing to could just be saying, again, with that same theme, maybe you decide to leave a workplace behind because you feel like the boss is tyrannical, right? You feel like they just don't treat you in a fair way. And you decide, you know what, I'm just going to pack up and see what else is out there. If that's the case, it looks like you would be getting a lot of offers with the 8 of Wands. That's the way I see that, a lot of communication. So if you put your resume out there, you might be getting a lot of calls back regarding some interviews, things along those lines. And another way this could be playing out too, given that the 7 of Swords, the person looks like he's looking right at that, I would say be careful around communication with money too. So again, like I said, going back to the example where maybe instead of this being an existing employer, maybe this is even one of the new employers, right? Where you go for a job interview and you guys are discussing salary and they make it seem like they can't give you that much, but realistically they actually could give you a lot more. So just be mindful of any communication around money, because you might want to take what they say with a grain of salt, because it might not necessarily be the case. So just something to keep in mind there. In the hopes or fears position, we have the King of Wands. So again, maybe this is what this was about too, right? Maybe this was saying that you were hoping to get to that next level in your career, and maybe you felt like there was someone standing in the way of that, right? Maybe you feel like they felt threatened by you, so maybe you realized, you know what, maybe I need to cut my losses, right, and just look somewhere else. And if that's the case, like I said, it looks like you probably would be rewarded with that, given that we see that 10 of Wands. Again, I feel that is your experience. And then that 10 of Pentacles under that saying that, hey, basically you could cash in, whatever experience you have, they haven't been appreciating that or at least compensating you well for that, the next place would, Another way this could be playing out too, though, could just be saying that this is what you're hoping to happen, would happen with your boss, for them to be knocked down a peg or two, right? From that Emperor energy down to the King of Wands, where, they could still dig their feet in a bit, the King of Wands energy, but they're definitely a bit more open than the Emperor and more likely to, actually compromise a little bit. So that could be what's at play there. And in the outcome position, we have the Ace of Wands. So it's interesting, just looking at this whole row, we see all wand energy. So to me, this looks like you're definitely ready to take some kind of action which makes sense, you know, in addition to just having the sun come back into your sign this time of year. Like we said, now we have eclipse energy going on too. So that could just add to that even more. And like I said, you guys had Jupiter come into your sign early in December. It's trine Uranus and Taurus as well, which is a supportive energy. So that could be what's at play there. But yeah, well, I will say though, with the aces, they don't always represent taking that action, but it's at least thinking of it. So just keep that in mind. This shows that there's potential for something and probably something to be rather successful, but you do still have to take action on that. And given that we do see the Two of Wands at the bottom of the deck here, most likely it looks like you guys are ready to take action. So there's that. But again, maybe it's just as simple as maybe you have so many options, right? Like I said, in those scenarios where you might put out your resume, you might get more options than you were even expecting. So now it's just a matter of you saying, all right, well, I'm definitely going to take action, but now I have to figure out which one, you know, which offer to take, right? So overall, although it looked a little chaotic here for a bit, I will say that overall it seems like it's positive energy, or at least we'll move in that direction. So hopefully that's how it plays out for you guys. All right, moving on to your oracle cards. First, we have Milk and Honey. There's the artwork, and the number is 51. It says the taste of prosperity, opportunities born of authenticity, nurturing abundance, trusting that your needs will be met. The oracle's message: you've entered a sweet time in your life, enjoying the land of milk and honey that everyone wants to experience. It's an interlude that feels more languid than ambitious, when all your senses are awake to the unlimited possibilities in the universe. These times are precious and only come when you're in your authentic zone, wearing the world as a loose garment, not wanting, yet able to be nourished in ways both tangible and subtle. Abundance is an energy that you are a living part of. All your needs are being met. You are given the gift of nourishment in every form. So yeah, like reading that makes me think that, like I said, maybe there was some chaotic energy going on, but like I said, especially with the eclipses coming on, maybe it's just going to help things get rebalanced in a karmic way, you know. So all of that work that you might have been putting in, that, you know, maybe you weren't being compensated for correctly, at least it could add up to, all right, well, now I can still take that experience with me and move on to somewhere where I will be compensated properly, right? Something along those lines. All right, the relationship message says sensuality, connection, and passionate romance between lovers, sweet moments of understanding and love among friends and family are all here for you to savor now. Your heart's calling will be answered. Let your thoughts and feelings be sweet with gratitude, and you will be nourished with the honey of abundance. So I will say I didn't see too much as far as a romantic relationship that's currently going on. Like I said, for some of you, it might have even been that you may have left one recently, and possibly, if anything, maybe you are trying to get back into that connection. Like I said, maybe it was just something that happened during the retrograde. Maybe you guys had a falling out. But, you know, I will say that I don't see like a huge vibe of like someone new coming in. Maybe that's what that Ace of Wands energy could represent for some of you, though. So hopefully you got something from that. And then the prosperity message says there is only one authentic you. This version of yourself is Spirit's emissary in the world. When you're in alignment with the truth that you are a unique expression of the divine, your ego can rest and your soul can illuminate your purpose. Now is the time when you are seeking your true north. When you find this direction, you automatically step into prosperity, and the world brings you evidence of abundance. Miracles are a choice and a way of seeing the world. With every choice you make right now, you have the potential to seize good fortune and embrace your destiny. Opportunities will lead you to your best life now. Be open to them. You're getting a sweet taste of what you want. So definitely a pretty supportive message there. Like I said, for those of you who maybe even if you did walk away from a job recently and you're now putting yourself back out there, it looks like you could definitely have some success with that. Like I said, it looks like to me, I just keep seeing this as your experience, right, with those wands paying off with that Ten of Pentacles. So hopefully, you got something from that. All right, and next we have Draft Spirit. It says, see the big picture. And this is from the Spirit Animal Oracle. There's the artwork. The number on this one's 29. All right. It says, giraffes stretch upward to reach the treetops and look down from a high vantage point. When Draft Spirit appears, it is a sign to observe from a higher view. In all aspects of your life, it's time to stretch your neck out and broaden your view. Open your eyes to what others need or are experiencing, and see the big picture you fit into. No matter how great your wisdom, knowledge, or experience, you don't want to overlook details and connections that will help you better understand yourself and your circumstances, so stretch yourself. Look beyond what catches your attention at the eye level, and know that not everything is as obvious as you might like it to be. Spirit will bestow upon you a new perspective that might make all the difference. So, that's an interesting message there. And, I would say in the context of this reading, maybe that's partially what's going on there too. Like I said, where maybe some of you, because you've just been in this type of workplace and maybe it's been all you've known, right? Maybe you feel like, well, it is the best you could do. And then maybe what that's saying in that regard is if you look at it from a different vantage point and realize, you know what, I have all this experience in this field. Let me see what else is out there, right? And maybe that's what's at play there. So hopefully you got something from that too. All right. And lastly, we have a Mudra card for you. So this is your Mudra for the month. It's the Trishula Mudra. And the keyword for it is destruction. So interesting keyword, right? Let's see. So try to get it to focus here so you could see the info on it. All right. It's not cooperating. Let me try again. All right. It's really not trying to focus for some reason. But anyway, I'll just read you what it says under benefits. So see if it's something you would find interesting. It says removes obstacles on the spiritual path. Serves as a spiritual weapon against ignorance, laziness, doubt, egoism, attachment, and aversion. So if this is something that you feel would benefit you, I will put the name of the mudra in the description of the video so you can look into it some more. But we'll wrap up there, guys. Once again, happy birthday, happy new year, and I'll see you all next month. All right, bye.